Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Panzer Corps, and we're crushing Greece now. Now, I know none are watching right now, but if in case any ever do, game companies, why do you piss off your customers? You know, I know you're full of self-importance, but why do you insist upon pissing off your customers? Now, I know you don't know what I'm talking about, but this was supposed to be, and I know it's basically the same company here, but this was supposed to be Aggressor's Rome. But you pissed me off way too much. I even made an angry video, though. I went and dug a little bit more before I posted it, and I found a way around it. Why do you insist? And it's not just Slytherin or any one company, but many companies do this. You have opening music. You know, when you start the game, and it plays. And I go in and I go set the music volume down where I want it to, but it doesn't affect the opening music. So it's just aggravating. So you just piss off your customers. You know, I know you think, oh, it's our music and it's so good and we did such a good job on it. Yeah, maybe you did, but doesn't mean we always like it. Okay, well, we've got, looks like 8 turns left. I think to get the super victory we had to do it less than, or have 9 turns remaining. Don't know that we're gonna get down here by that time. Okay, looks like we can get this in 1. Okay, that is good. Now we've got these guys. Oh, well, let's use... Okay, they've already shot, I think, at the... British ships here, if I remember. It's been a few days since I last played. Okay, none of those seem to be overly effective. Because this is a narrow front here, I'm working to maximize my attack capabilities. Okay. This one looks like it'll do a little better. And push them out. Great. And takes them out entirely. Very good. Very, very good. Okay. Now, these are my Gebirgsjägers. Since we're sort of heading towards mountains, or at least hills, that will be useful. I don't think we have enemy air left. Let's move down here. Yeah, I thought maybe. Anti-aircraft. Oops, they're going to take a pounding. Well, I don't see a good reason to put more units into the trap. That's sort of why I use the Italians as well. Okay. really in a... Oh, that's their infantry pure. Oh no, they're just getting to walk here because we need to move fast. And these guys will reinforce. Yeah, I don't see much use for them at the moment. Okay, well, let's forge ahead, shall we? Oh, well, we could, these guys, they haven't moved. There we go. We'll see about bringing as much as that naval artillery down. Next turn. Yeah. That wasn't so bad. Okay. Heard an Italian destroyer. Oh, that's just gonna hurt us, yeah. Let's fly up here, get some fuel. Okay, you guys can get to there. Very good. We'll risk it. We're not going to attack, but we'll risk them attacking us while still. There we go. I think that's really all we can / need to do. Oh, well, we could. Do we have any core units that need repair or reinforcement? Doesn't really look like it. Mostly allied or non-core stuff. Okay, good. Okay, when I want to hit the hardest, I think, is going to be this artillery piece, because we get rid of that. That's very good. Okay, that's mostly now a non-entity. Entity. We're gonna save that for the moment because these guys will all be able to advance a bit further forward. Very good, very good. That'd work to get rid of that. There we go. Yes, a bit of a traffic jam, that. And, oh, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Now that we've got rid of the anti-aircraft guns. Ooh, that was about the best strike out of the fighters. Okay. And these guys will just come down here to escort and be ready to do something next turn. Yep, and it's going to need to be next turn. But I think we can wrap this up this turn here. Okay. Well. Let's do an airstrike there. And we can fly back up to here. To refuel, whatever. And they're just gone. Good. Very good. And they can come up here, refuel themselves. All right. So we've got 2 units left. Uh-oh, hurt the Italians a little bit. And the big battleship guns. And the big battle cruiser guns. There we go. They're going. Yeah. And they're even gone purely by artillery. I was planning on coming in and taking them out with this when occupying there. But hey, there we go. Okay, we've got a marginal victory. I didn't do as well as maybe I'd hoped. Okay, sorry about that. We will proceed. Another campaign skillfully fought. Our southern front is now secure, and our allies have been bailed out of their troublesome situation. Now that this business is finally concluded, we have a real assignment for you, the upcoming invasion of the Soviet Union. This will test our strengths against the Soviet bear. Okay. Hoping to go to North Africa next, but alright, maybe that would have taken a decisive victory.
Operation Barbarossa. Our invasion of the Soviet Union has begun. From the Baltic Sea to the Black Sea, our forces are on the march against the Bolshevik. High Command has taken extraordinary measures to ensure complete secrecy for our invasion, and intelligence seems to confirm that our surprise is complete. You should encounter little Soviet resistance on your initial drive eastward, but expect resistance to grow as you cover more ground. Your core forces have been designated Army Group Center, and your ultimate objective for the first phase of the invasion is the city of Smolensk. Make no mistake, this invasion will be the largest the world has seen, and this enemy will be more numerous than any previous. Do not underestimate the Red Bear, Herr General, or it will be both our heads.
I still miss the comical German accent in the original game, Panzer General. Okay, access deployment phase. Okay, we have new equipment available. We could do Kradschützen, these guys, motorcycle reconnaissance, better Panzer IV, the last version of the Panzer IV with the short barrel. The F2 has the long barrel. Panzer 2F as well. Did I say Panzer 2? This is Panzer 4. Did I forget? Okay, and of course 170 millimeter. This is about the biggest the German guns got for regular sorts of, divisional artillery type things without being big siege things. And the Wolfhammen, the rockets, and armored reconnaissance. These are the shorter half tracks. Okay. Cool. Okay, now we're back to our sort of full-size forces. And I hope this will be of some interest as we go through this process now. We've got lots and lots of stuff, and core slots 28. So we can purchase some stuff. Okay. Upgrading these units are really useful because they have such good experience already. But if I'm going to, instead of upgrade some of these tanks here, why not just buy new ones, and that's sort of what we're going to do. Okay, we are really low on armor right now. We've taken some losses, I think, particularly in the English invasion. I think for the moment we might upgrade some more infantry to armored, but I think we're good with infantry. Armor is where we need to go, and I think we're pretty good with aircraft. 3 fighters. So let's go and look at what we can purchase. Oh, and we're out of reconnaissance. Okay. I just want to check something here. Okay, so we can do the big or the little. What's the difference between these? Okay. These are more expensive. Got more fuel. And more range. Okay, now these definitely are troop carrying half tracks, no doubt about it, especially this the 250 stroke one as opposed to the 251 stroke one. But they were set up for reconnaissance. Fighting reconnaissance battalions really is what they were sort of set up for doing. Crad shoots and okay. These were of course reconnaissance units in and of themselves. But like I say, we need some recon. More expensive, more soft kill, less fuel, less range. We lost our previous one. We're going to go with that, I think. And these are very good too. The SDKFZ 2328 rad. The 8 rad are the 8 wheels, tires, whatever. What is really good about these guys is, and this is sort of, these were in operation at the beginning. Well, no. Yeah, these were, I'm pretty sure, at the operation at the beginning of the war. I know they had some going into France, maybe into Poland. I'm not sure. These were definitely used in Poland. These were found to not be very good at all in anything off-road, the 6-wheel vehicles. These guys, and they knew this before the war, so they were already looking for an upgrade. But so they went to these guys. These guys I was reading about, and they kept the 222 in operation and in production basically throughout the war. They talk about that they don't have entirely satisfactory cross-country performance, but I think a lot of that has to do with the Soviet Union and snow and mud. I don't think it's bad for, it's not great, but it's not bad for cross-country performance in other times. These guys are pretty good here. Each one of these axles is articulated in that when you go to turn right or left, now the forward one turns the most, but they all sort of turn appropriately. So these guys would actually, you can't see my hands here, sort of turn in the opposite direction as these to make really tight turns. So these were really good. They did come up with, and I think it was mainly the Czech development later in the war, with an improved version. And what was particularly good with these guys is this is a 4-man vehicle. It has a sort of a gunner and a vehicle commander. Both of the guns were multi-shot, so yes, you had to reload the well, both of them eventually, but after a few shots you had to reload the main cannon. But it wasn't such as an imperative to boom, reload, boom, reload, that you needed 2 people. And then it is meant for a fighting vehicle, but it's primarily a reconnaissance vehicle. It's a fighting reconnaissance vehicle, so that you didn't really need a loader specifically. And of course the commander would help load the gun once you're sort of in the thick of it. But it had 2, it kind of looks like there's a driver and a co-driver here. but it had a driver in front and a driver in back. There was another sort of vision thing you'd see out the back, and there was a whole setup, and that was a standard position to sit and face backwards, so they could back up as easily and effectively as they could go forward. So we're going to purchase one of these because we want some reconnaissance. That is a definite. We've got one of those. We've got, I want to say enough, but I would really sort of like a rocket of some sort. Okay. Which one is range? Probably this. Oh, range. Okay. Okay, so they're the same range. I like that. I like one of these guys. I sort of like these the way they worked in Panzer General, in that they're very well armored. They're not great at, they have very short range, a range of only 1. But you can get them up to the front, and they can take a lot of hits and escort elements. And I definitely want to get, eventually at least, 2 anti-aircraft elements. Do I have any left remaining? No. Okay. So, anti-aircraft. I want one that's mobile, that is ready to go without having to set up. It's always ready to go. And yeah, we're going to go with one of these guys. This is the better one. We have enough fighters, bombers, artillery. Okay. Yeah, I want to get one of these guys that has fairly long range. But I do need tanks. So, let's see here. Okay, so this has better infantry killing, but worse tank penetration, and we're going to be fighting against Soviet. What's this? Initiative, okay. Better initiative. Ground defenses and air defenses, and this is marginally better. But I think we'll grab a flame. That would be sort of cool. Wouldn't mind using a few of these other types, but for buying it, I think we still have, well, yeah, 2,000. And it looks like, well, we're going to get a reconnaissance. Okay, we're going to get one of those. Good. Going to get a recon, anti-air, and one of these big honking artillery, and a horse unit. Okay. That looks good. Just keep that in mind, gamer. We may want to upgrade that to oh, and we also have a pack. Yeah, pack 38, this 50mm gun there. That's good too. Okay. If that doesn't have trucks or something, we'll probably upgrade that. Yeah, you can see, I think the H, I forget at times, has the short-barreled 50mm gun. Guderian, who did not sit at the design table and design this tank, but he came up with the basic design elements of along, I'm sure, within consultation, and I know there's this sort of bashing Guderian fad on the internet right now. He's still a major fan of, I'm still a major fan of his, skill and capabilities. And he may very well, oh, well, it was Corporal so-and-so or Lieutenant such-and-such that really sort of came up with it. And Guderian just sort of like went along. Yeah, okay. I don't know how much he personally, like I say, I know he wasn't the design architect, if you will, for this, and figuring out just where all the screws and bolts and how it's going to be welded. No. He's not that even, and I don't know. But he basically, this was his idea of a standard fighting tank, what he wanted. Again, he may be working with others. I'm sure to some degree he was working with others, and it wasn't 100% his ideas. But this is what he wants. He's sort of the main inspectorate of armored corps, though there is somebody sort of over him. I forget. I'm trying to remember his name. I don't remember. But this is what he wants. He wants a 3-man turret. He wants a driver, co-driver / radio operator in front. So a 5-crew tank. He wants it big enough to carry a 50mm gun. Well, there wasn't really any 50mm gun like laying around on some, design table or factory floor going, oh yeah, we can build you more of these things. They had 37s. And so this turret was designed in size and shape to be able to mount the tank to mount a 50mm gun with a 50mm shell. They may not have been exactly sure of the size of the shell entirely. How it's not. We sort of kind of know 50mm, in diameter of the projectile. But how long is that projectile? You make a projectile longer, it has greater sectional density. And that's why if you sort of throw an arrow at something, and then you throw a shorter thing with a similar point on it, but much shorter, it won't stick in or fly as well. So it's sectional density. So you can have a longer projectile. And then of course you can have the cartridge. It's just the case, trying to specify not the whole round, but the back brass bit on it, cartridge we'll call it, that just what's its dimensions, how long is that, how wide is that, all of these things. Okay, but you sort of kind of have the general idea, and so you need a turret ring, that's the thing that the turret turns around on, big enough so that if you have the gun in there, the breech of the gun will fit, the crew will fit behind it, the crew can handle the ammunition. Because if you mount a 75mm long barreled, not one of these guys, but one of the longer barreled ones, into here, great, okay, it fits. Okay, let's load the gun. The 75mm round is too long to, there isn't either backspace or headroom up above here to be able to load and fit in and pass that ammo around, because that's getting pretty long. Now, the short barrel, the L24 barrel round, is about very similar size. It's fatter, okay? And so that you can handle, move the 75mm short round in and around this space. And this is what they eventually did. Now, this was designed to be a support tank, designed a bit better. They did squeeze one of these guns and its ammo mounting racks into one of these, but that's pushing it a bit far. You really can't get beyond that. And this, again, was designed as your big support tank. Now, I don't know what they thought the future, in the year 2000, what's it going to be like? But within their initial design scopes and looking at all of their opponents, these are the sort of size. This was, I don't know of any objection by Guderian for the Panzer IV, but it was sort of pushed on him as a support tank. And I think he was, like I say, I don't know that he had any objections to it. This is mainly designed to carry a large exploding round to blow up bunkers, because they were looking at it and going, oh, yeah, those Czechs, yeah, they've got fortifications all around their country. Oh, yeah, the French, they've got fortifications all around the border. Yeah, the Belgians, they even have fortifications. They don't want to be marched through again. Okay, so that they're looking at this at all around them. They got fortifications. They're even looking at, hey, the Italians, they've got fortifications. Because you got to remember, as time goes on, well, starting out early on when they're sort of coming up with some of these ideas, Italy is still solidly aligned with Britain and France in an anti-German coalition that is starting to fall apart. Definitely falls apart over Ethiopia. But just as that is falling apart, starting in the beginning of 1936, there is the Three Powers Pact, something I didn't know about until relatively recently. The Three Powers Pact sounds sort of like the tripartite agreement. They had to come up with a new name because it was already taken, the Three Powers Pact. And that was Italy, Austria, and Hungary all in an anti-German alliance to protect themselves. Austria, and so it was set up by Mussolini. This was in 1936, just at the beginning. So Germany, Hitler, core goal, beyond any other goal. He will have failed if he doesn't unite the German people. So he knows he needs Austria. And Mussolini wants a buffer state with Germany. Mussolini has grabbed German-speaking territory. Well, not Mussolini, but Italy has grabbed it at the end of World War I. And this is in the Tyrol region, in the Trieste region, along the coast. I don't know how. I do know that there was a German-speaking Austrian element within the port of Trieste, going back for quite ways. I don't know, because getting in that part of the world, you do have mixed ethnic groups. I don't know what the percentage of it, whether it's just a 5% people, and Hitler isn't really at his core trying to go, oh, there's 5% of the people living in your country or in that city is German, we gotta take it over. No, he would encourage them, of course, to move to Germany or something like that. So I don't really quite know, but so Mussolini wants to maintain all of his territory. So he's very worried about German reunification, because it isn't just with Austria, it's with the Sudetenland. Because before they ever get Austria in, they're already propagandizing for Sudetenland, and up until 1936, they're also propagandizing in Switzerland until Gustloff is killed. And that sort of shuts that down. And then, of course, they're also starting to, but not so much at this stage, pushing to get back lost populations and territory to Poland and including Danzig. So Mussolini realizes this, and Mussolini realizes that they've just got sort of the Tyrol and Trieste and some other areas just, a few years, at the end of World War I. So it's the same time frame, and here's Hitler demanding more territory. So he's really worried about all of this. So he has border defenses built facing the old Austrian, or, Austria, and he looks not as Austria as a threat, but Austria as a buffer zone. So Germans are looking all around and seeing fortifications facing them in most directions. Sort of the one big direction is east, and outside of Czechoslovakia is Poland, and it doesn't have much in the way of fortifications. And I sort of don't blame the Poles for it, for not. They realize the threat. Trust me, it's just too big of an open of a country. But yeah, so this is good for this. This is limited. If you look at something like the Sherman, it's good up until the end of the war. You're only at the very final stages starting to have that ammunition handling problem. You can look at some of the British Shermans. You can see a big square thing, sort of like this, stuck on the back of the Shermans that they are using. They literally cut out a square hole in the back and build an armored, this isn't armored and it doesn't connect to the inside, this box back here, but an armored box, I don't know how thick the armor is, to be able to handle, be able to take the big 76 millimeter. And it's not just that it's 1 more millimeter than a 75, it's a much longer cartridge with a longer round in it, and to be able to handle it and load it through the Shermans. And so with doing that, you've kept the Shermans functional through to the end of 45, would have been functional into 46, where this is long since gone, and all Panzer III production has been moved over to things on the Stug type or on the Nashorn Hummel, which are big anti-tank guns. Don't think we have anything like that here. Yeah, nothing like that here. Or self-propelled artillery guns. So they continue to produce the hulls in a fashion, and they're still useful in that manner. Oh, and of course you have the Jag Panzers and other things like that. But so this is good. This is really good for its time, but by the midpoint in the war, it's really outpushed its capabilities. Okay, so now we have 4 tank units, 1 anti-tank unit. That gives me about 2 thrusting pushes, because you really sort of need. Let's see, can we buy, and how are we doing for prestige points / money / whatever? Okay, I am tempted to get one of these, but we also have the upgrades. I'm just sort of kind of wondering if we're going to face mud. That might be more useful for some reconnaissance, but we already have 1 extra reconnaissance that's with the scenario. Yeah, that's just so clearly better looking at all the stats. I think most of my Panzer IV, so okay, just greater protection really is all we're seeing from these guys. Okay, no, that's a Panzer III as well, so we could use another Panzer IV. Okay, I thought we had 2 Panzer IVs, and this is a fairly early one, which we'll need to upgrade. So let's grab one of these. Okay, now, yeah, much cheaper than buying it new. And what other units need serious upgrade attention? Okay, fighters. Skill matters a lot, so we are paying the price to do elite upgrades. We have 1 bridging unit. Very tempted to get that just for the fun of it. Pioneers are also very useful. How expensive are these? Okay, so they are pretty good. Okay. Not just for the fun of it. We're gonna get a Crad Schützen unit. And we have an extra one. Okay, that would be just too much. We can buy it a little bit later, maybe. Well, no, don't think we need. Yeah, that's too much. Yep, let's purchase it. Okay. We've got a long big dance, 23 turns. Okay. So our northern push here, okay, nowhere is particularly mountainous. So our mountain troops aren't particularly useful at any one spot. Right, well, we're going to end the episode here. This is taking too long. So continue the setup next episode. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for liking the videos. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Love to see you around more often. And post questions, comments, corrections. Love hearing from you. See you next time for more historical gaming.